Auburn, LSU, War Eagle, go Tiger. Tonight on the Plains, one team's dream of SEC title may fade away. In this rivalry, fires have raged. Earthquakes have been registered. Big touchdowns scored and interceptions have saved the day. Intensity in its highest form. Each Tigers experienced the highs and lows that only come from a fierce rivalry bred in the nation's best conference. In this game, stars are made, heroes are born, reputations are made, and legends created. More of the same tonight. A tale of two Tigers is next. And we welcome you to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. As Nova flies in, it's the SEC on ESPN. Our matchup at Jordan-Hare Stadium, a battle of two teams in the top 15, number 15 LSU and number 5 Auburn. 85,000 plus waiting on the defending SEC champions, and here they come. An unprecedented day in college football for one division of one conference. 3 games, 6 teams, all in the top 15. Mississippi State straightened things out a little bit. The Rebels of Ole Miss, I believe, have just scored. And if they hold on, regardless of the outcome of that game, that straightens things out in the standings. That's the kind of day it's been. Yeah. We're going to cap it off for you tonight. Welcome, everybody. Brad Nessler with Todd Blackledge. Partner, the standings tell the story. Yeah. You want to stay on the road to Atlanta? Don't lose, including these 2 teams tonight. You know, the SEC West used to be a 3-team division. It's now a 6-team division. And the 7th team, Arkansas, is pretty darn good, too. So if you want to stay in the race, you got to win tonight. Auburn, the only loss they suffered in the regular season was to LSU last year. A lot of people think they're not quite clicking yet, but they're still number 5 in the country. You know, and their quarterback, Nick Marshall's better than he was a year ago because he's better as a passer. They really worked on his fundamentals this spring. They added Duke Williams, a junior college transfer wide receiver. So they're more diverse on offense than they were last year, even though they're not gobbling up yards the same way. Well, on the LSU side of things, they've got a freshman quarterback who they put in the frying pan last week, but that was New Mexico State. Tonight he's in the fire. Absolutely. And you know what? The reason that they made the switch is very simple. As a quarterback, he's done 2 things. He's taken better care of the football than Anthony Jennings, and he's been more productive. He's got his team in the end zone. Now, he's an extremely talented guy, even though he's very young. He's got that baby face. You can tell he's just out of high school, but he has a very lively arm. He's 6'3", 188 pounds. He can really throw it, make any throw you want, and he's a very talented ball carrier, too. So a dual threat guy. You know, conventional wisdom says you come in here if you're Les Miles and Cam Cameron and you protect him. You call a conservative game. You try to get your running game going. Take pressure off your young quarterback. I don't think we're going to see that. I think they're going to cut this guy loose from the very beginning because LSU's best chance of winning tonight is for that young man to have a big game. Before we kick down to the field, 3rd member of our team, Holly Rowe, if she can hear me.
Well, guys, there are key injuries tonight that may affect this game. For LSU, they're without 2 of their best defenders. Defensive tackle Quentin Thomas will not play, and perhaps their most versatile defensive player, Dwayne Thomas, is out. 2 freshmen will take their place. Now for Auburn, their right tackle, Patrick Miller, is out, which will cause a shift along the offensive line that Gus Malzahn is concerned about. And also keep your eye on the health of the 2 linebackers for Auburn. Chris Frost has a lefty injury. He practiced all week, is cleared to play, but he is somewhat slowed by a big knee brace. And the leading tackler on this Auburn team, Casanova McKenzie, had a concussion. He is also cleared to play, but he may not be able to play as much as they'd like. He did not practice all week.
Thanks, Holly. Auburn won the toss. They deferred. Carlson will tee it up. Leonard Fournette and Terrence McGee are back deep for LSU. What a way to cap the day in the SEC. A battle of Tigers at Jordan-Hare. Let's do it. And this one will come out to the 25. Here's another look at Brandon Harris. 6'3", 188-pounder. Didn't start playing football till 9th grade. He grew up about 10 minutes from his mentor, Dak Prescott, who had an all-world game again today for Mississippi State.
Well, again, the guy is very talented, a dual-threat guy, lively arm. I expect to see LSU really let him go tonight. Not make it too big of a stage for him. See if he's ready for it.
Terrence McGee is the tailback in the eye behind Connor Neighbors, the fullback. On first down, LSU Tigers at their own 25. And already the crowd making it tough on the freshman. It is McGee. That'll quiet the crowd a little bit. Pickup of 6 as we take a look at our Chick-fil-A impact players for tonight. Val Collins, great left tackle. He's got to take care of the blind side of his quarterback. Malachi Dupree coming on as a freshman. He's got a nice feel and a fumble on the play, but it's going to be covered by the fullback. I was going to say Malachi Dupree has kind of gotten a nice chemistry with the freshman quarterback, and there's the first mistake of the night, but it didn't cost him anything.
Just a bad exchange between the center and quarterback. Well, again, Brandon Harris is a guy most of his high school career was spent in the shotgun. He just started learning how to take snaps under center when he came to LSU.
There's the previous starter, Anthony Jennings. May or may not see him tonight, depending on how things go. 3rd down and 7. So here's the first tough spot, and they're going to play it safe. McGee got to the 30, and it's going to be a punting situation. Angelo Blackson made the stop.
A very conservative call on that first 3rd down situation for the young quarterback. Again, I think LSU's best chance in this ball game is for Brandon Harris to have a big-time game, throwing the football. But that first possession, they wanted to protect him a little bit.
He at least got his feet wet and got a handle on the football, even though he mishandled one. Got to be careful as any kind of punter to kick Daquan Bray. And maybe with that in mind, it wasn't a good punt, and Bray's going to field it anyway, and he goes down in his tracks. So nice coverage by the special teams for LSU. Jamal Adams made the tackle, or the first guy down there.
Now, the last time we saw LSU, their defense, uncharacteristic, gave up some big plays. In this play, the linebacker took that gap. That left 2 unblocked guys, but it didn't matter because they missed tackles. If you want to play against an offense like Mississippi State or Auburn, very similar, you got to close all the gaps and you have to tackle well. And they didn't do it 2 weeks ago against Mississippi State.
So Nick Marshall lines up his offense at the 22-yard line. Quarterback draw all the way on the first snap, and Marshall's into the secondary. All the way out to the 40-yard line. 18 yards on his first snap.
That's a design quarterback draw. That was not a scramble. He had a lead blocker. They blocked the middle linebacker, and a big pickup on first down for Nick Marshall.
In the pistol now with Cameron Artis-Payne behind him. Screen out in the flat. And that's Quan Bray, who had a big game last week. Had a couple of touchdown catches. 3 grabs for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns. And again, Auburn will go at this tempo for most of the game, or we anticipate that anyway. 2nd down and 7. Marshall's going to keep it. He's going to be a couple yards shy of the first down.
Pretty well defended that time by LSU. They maintained leverage on Nick Marshall, and they didn't lose contact with the receiver down the field. Ronald Martin was the guy who maintained leverage from his safety position, but that's a play where Marshall can throw it if the defense all reacts up to him. Good discipline by LSU.
C.J. Uzomah, the tight end, in for the first time. They've got 3 receivers to Marshall's right now. That's Uzomah in motion. 3rd down and 3. Easy throw and catch. Bray's got the first down, and he's down to the LSU 34-yard line.
Well, they put Bray in a stacked position. It's hard to double cover. He was in a good position to get open. They only needed 4 yards. and he got it easily.
Only needed 4 and got 19. So the opening march for Auburn's Tigers have taken him to the LSU Tiger 34-yard line. Play action, quick throw, low, but caught. Duke Williams only picked up a couple. And Nick Marshall's pointing at his chest saying, that's on me, Duke. If I'd have put that out in front of you, maybe had a big gainer.
And all that is footwork. And again, that's what they worked on with him all spring. Accuracy throwing the football has more to do with your feet and getting in the proper position with your feet than it has anything to do with your arm.
2nd down and 8. Again, Auburn waiting at the line, but has plenty of time here as they change things up from the sideline. And they're going to take a timeout because they were running out of time. Got down to about 3. And Gus Malzahn said, we better talk this thing over and not waste a down and a penalty. Some magical moments in this rivalry that's in its 49th game. LSU leads it 27-20. There's been one tie, and they have won 3 straight and 6 of the last 7. Right now, Auburn on the move. They're on their opening drive, their opening possession with a 2nd down and 8. End around. Quan Bray. Nice job by LSU to stretch it out. Looked like he was going to have a bigger game than that.
Tre'Davious White, number 16. You've got to maintain leverage. Auburn is an excellent team running outside of the tackles on the perimeter. Coming into the game, they averaged over 8 yards per run running outside the tackles. That time, nice job by Tre'Davious White maintaining leverage and bringing up a 3rd down situation.
2nd in the country in 3rd down conversions. Marshall with a slant too far in front of his intended receiver. No flags. That's what Duke Williams was looking for. Ronald Martin in the coverage. And Gus Malzahn said, how do you not call that?
That's the right guy to go to. He is really hard to guard on a slant. A little bit of contact, a little bit of a grab. But that was not a well-thrown ball by Nick Marshall and his first miss of the night.
Daniel Carlson will try a 46-yard field goal. His long this year is 45. Trying to put Auburn on the board first. Carlson from 46. And he got it. Good start for Auburn. They score on their opening possession. 10-16 remaining first quarter.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. Feel the Hamptonality. And in part by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models. Another reason to experience the new Buick.
Back at Jordan-Hare Stadium, this was the scene about 20 seconds ago when the Auburn fans found out that Alabama lost. We'll check in with Reese in the studio after the kickoff as to how that happened. What a day already. The state of Mississippi, everybody's going to be partying tonight, someplace.
Maybe the road to Atlanta runs through the state of Mississippi.
How about that?
Wow.
Carlson's kick deep. And with that kick out of bounds in the back of the end zone, let's check in with Reese Davis. Reese.
All right, Brad, Taco Bell studio update, and this is how it went down on a 3rd and goal. Bo Wallace hit Jalen Walton. This came after Alabama had fumbled at the kickoff, and then Blake Sims threw an interception in the end zone with about a half-minute to go. 23-17, Ole Miss wins it, and Notre Dame came back late to score a touchdown against Stanford to beat the Cardinals 17-14.
So the updated standings 5 years ago, you wouldn't have said that could happen, would you?
Yeah, unbelievable. What a day.
Let's see how the second series goes for the freshman Brandon Harris.
I would expect to see them let him throw the ball deep soon in this possession.
Gives it to McGee. This is what they got on first down on the first carry. Pick up a 7. Casanova McKenzie, who Holly was talking about as being a little bit of a question mark, was the guy that made the tackle. So LSU goes without a huddle on 2nd down and 3.
Remember the last possession, 2nd down, was when they had the fumbled snap. Really set them back after the good gain on first down.
This might be the deep ball Todd was talking about. It's going to throw on the sideline. Incomplete, intended for Traven Durrell. Jonathan Mincy was in coverage.
We're seeing a true freshman quarterback. They've got a lot of freshmen running backs, wide receivers. Look at what they lost from last year's offense. Very, very productive guys, and all of them are playing on Sundays now. I mean, not just good college players, future NFL stars as well.
Jeremy Hill had 184 himself and 3 touchdowns in that game last year. Only Tennessee's played more freshmen than LSU. And their quarterback's got a 3rd down and 3. They'll give it to McGee again. He's not going to get there. So the 2nd time in a row that they played a little bit conservatively on 3rd down.
Well, 3rd and 3 running is not nearly as conservative a call as doing it on 3rd and 7. But credit Auburn's run defense, and that's been the strength of their defense so far through the first part of the season. They've been very difficult to run the football on, particularly inside the tackles.
Quan Bray leads the country in punt returns. Not a lot of guys have 36.8. The next closest is about 10 yards behind him. He's not going to have a chance for this one, though, because it's a mile in the air, and he's just trying to see where it might come down. It comes down at the 32-yard line. 8:50 remaining first quarter. Nick Marshall and company when we come back.
In the grip of muscle aches or arthritis pain? Break the grip with odor-free Aspercreme. Maximum strength medicine clinically proven to relieve muscle and joint pain fast. With no odor, so all you notice is relief. Aspercreme. Break the grip of pain.
3-0 Auburn in front, set to take over on offense again in a moment as we take a look at tonight's Chick-fil-A impact players. Reese Dismukes, one of the great centers in college football. He's the man that calls the shots. Duke Williams, a leading receiver. Daniil Hunter, we saw him with a 25-yard touchdown on a fumble recovery a couple of weeks ago. Quan Alexander's an Alabama native, so you know he's fired up for tonight's game, and he's their leading tackler.
Right now they have Duke matched up on a safety, Ronald Martin. That's a matchup that favors Auburn.
Nice defensive job by the guy we just said, Daniil Hunter. No gain on the play for Artis Payne.
When you play this Auburn offense as well as they can run the football, you have to create some negative plays. You have to hold your own on first down and create some 0 or negative plays to put them a little bit off schedule. 2nd and 10 is not where they love to be.
This time they won't run it. They will throw. Marshall wide open is Artis Payne, and he's got a first down.
Really nice read by Nick Marshall. He was looking deep to Sammy Coates first. Watch him look deep. They're sending Sammy Coates. He gets picked up by 2 defenders, and that left Cameron Artis Payne alone on the sideline. Good job by the quarterback checking down to his secondary receiver.
Pick up at 19 and a first down in LSU territory again. Artis Payne runs right into the same guy. Hunter might have gotten a half yard out of that one. After all the great players that LSU has had on their defensive wall, they kind of think that Daniil Hunter might be a guy that grows into that role. Got great length, 6'6", 240-pounder.
Where they are different this year is inside. The defensive tackle position, they're young, and they're talented guys, but they've got to grow up.
Payne out in the flat, and a flag goes down as he got to the 43-yard line. Matt Moore is our referee tonight, and here's the call.
Holding, number 1 of the offense, 10-yard penalty, Second down.
Shaquille Williams, a wide receiver, out on the corner, trying to get his tailback some space with the hole.
That on LSU defense. Remember last year they had Ego Ferguson, Anthony Johnson in there on the inside. Now they've got a true freshman in Gacho and a sophomore in Lakacher, and the middle linebacker Kendall Beckwith in there right now as a sophomore. So that inside triangle very young for LSU.
Marshall wanting to go deep again, and now he does. And it is caught by Coates. Touchdown. Seems like one of those as a coach you'd say, don't throw that thing.
Double coverage. Not the right read. Doesn't matter. Sometimes you're right as a quarterback by giving a big wide receiver a chance to go up and get the ball.
Auburn brings everybody in now. And after showing that they might go for two, they bring their kicker in to try to make it 10-0. Carlson's extra point is right down the middle. 7:05 remaining in the first quarter.
Sammy Coates has been bothered by a knee injury. He's having trouble getting in and out of breaks, but straight ahead he's been okay. He shows that he can get down the field, but that's great coverage by Rashad Robinson, a 6'3" cornerback. It's just a matter of an offensive guy timing his jump a little bit better and going up and fighting for the football.
Sammy caught 4 for 139 in this game last year. He averaged over 21 yards per catch a year ago and 54 per touchdown catch. He's right on average, 56 yards for the score. Well, LSU knows what they're up against right now. They had 2 series. They played it pretty conservatively. And now they're 10 down. And they know they have to get it in gear before they get too far behind.
Rashad Robinson was in excellent position. Just mistimed his jump. May have even gone up with the wrong hand to go for the deflection. And Sammy Coates came away with a touchdown.
Daniel Carlson does all the kicking chores for Auburn, though we might see a different punter at times tonight because Gus Malzahn feels like he's sort of wearing his leg out by doing triple duty, including the kickoffs. But he's in there right now, and he's set to try to keep Leonard Fournette and Terrence McGee away from the football. He won't this time, though. Fournette's going to bring it out from 3 yards deep. And the freshman tailback got near the 20, and then he's run out of bounds. Let's take a look at the AP Top 10 rankings brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Florida State in a romp today, but there's shakeup everywhere else. Oregon lost the other night. Alabama lost. Oklahoma has lost now.
Wow.
Auburn can move all the way to number 2 if they win this game. What a day. 2, 3, 4, and 6 have already lost. Number 5's got a 10-point lead. And LSU with their best offensive play of the night. Darrell Williams picks up 9.
So far, LSU has run every first down play, and they've gained a lot of yards running the football on first down. Just good power football. Nice block by the right guard, Ethan Posick. And there they are at 2nd and short. And this is the situation you want for your quarterback. 2nd and very short. Might be an opportunity to take a throw down the field, or you can always trust that you can run it for the first down.
Well, some mix up there. And they're going to lose yardage. So every time they do something positive, they have a negative, it seems like, on the next play.
Well, that looks like the quarterback wasn't sure of his course when he turned. That was going to be a run, and he was off course and just tried to take it himself, but ended up losing yardage.
A freshman tailback and a freshman quarterback. Somebody went the wrong way, and it brings up 3rd down again. Flags fly. It might end up being 3rd and 8.
Full start. Offense. 77. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And this is exactly what you don't want your freshman quarterback to be involved with. 3rd down and long. We've done a lot of games here. I can't remember it being this loud this early.
I don't either.
It's incredible. I don't know if they're still excited that Alabama lost, or they're thinking, hey, let's move all the way up to number 2. Either way, they're into it.
I think part of it might be the fact they've lost 6 of the last 7 to LSU.
That's true. Harris is going to have to run, and he got belted out of bounds. He's not going to feel too good about that hit. Brandon King took him out of bounds unceremoniously.
Doesn't see what he likes. Left the pocket before he had to. And again, that's a freshman mistake. He didn't get flushed out of the pocket. He didn't have to scramble. But as soon as he did, they zeroed in on him and put the hit on him on the sideline.
3 3-and-outs for LSU. And here's another Jamie Keane punt. Whoa, they got close to him. Quan Bray's got to take a fair catch right at the 40-yard line. They got some heat on the punter. 10-point Auburn lead.
Reese Davis with you in the studio. Dr. Pepper conference update. You saw all of the carnage in the top 10. Here's how TCU and Oklahoma finished. Last gasp effort for the Sooners. Trevor Knight throws it out of bounds. TCU wins it. Only the 2nd time in the history of the AP poll that 4 of the top 6 have lost on the same weekend.
That's good info, Reese. We were just wondering that. Thank you. 10-0 here. Number 5, Auburn, in front of 15th ranked LSU. Auburn with a little bunch huddle, and now they break it and run up to the line with a quick snap and a pitch out to Artis Payne. He got leveled after a pickup of a couple. Artis Payne had 41 yards and a touchdown last year in this game.
He's pretty versatile. They put him in a lot of spots. They can throw it to him. He's excellent on pass protection.
Jeremy Johnson's in there right now. They've got him set up as a wide receiver. Might bring him around, let him throw it. Here it comes. Loads and fires. Got a man out there and got him to the 20-yard line. And it's Sammy Coates again.
I don't think LSU was fooled by the trick play. They knew Jeremy Johnson was in the game. But it's again Sammy Coates using his big body to shield the defender and make a play for the football.
38 yards down to the 20. And now up the middle on the run is Artis Payne for 3.
You see in the tempo. When they make first downs, they can run tempo. The last 2 games, they've struggled early converting first downs.
They got another first down this time and goal at the 7-yard line. Pick up of 10.
Part of the reason you go tempo is to keep the same personnel on the field defensively, and part of it is you hope you get them not lined up in the right spot.
First and goal at the 7 for Auburn. This time Marshall keeps it. And he's going to score. Touchdown. If you're LSU, you're thinking, uh-oh.
Number 67 of Auburn recorded in and is now number 48.
Carlson with a kick. It's good. Pretty good numbers for Nick, huh? 1 in the air and 1 by land. Capped a 60-yard march in just 5 plays. 17-0 Auburn. 17-0, Auburn in front. 3:38 remaining in the quarter. We take a look at how Auburn's finding success. Brought to you by Expedia. Mr. Blackley.
Well, a lot of times you hear about the zone read. The quarterback reads a guy. I think this was a design quarterback keep, because watch the receiver, Marcus Davis. He's going to automatically go and block. And this man right here for LSU, the backup defensive end, Tayshawn Bauer, they leave him unblocked. Nick Marshall, he just is going to fake him out, because the read would have said give to the back on that play. It was a design quarterback run. Bauer was in position to make a play, but Nick Marshall, quick feet, got around him anyway.
All the major upsets today. So far, number 5 is holding serve pretty well. 17-0 lead. Fournette will take a knee. Yeah, you get your NFL Sunday started on ESPN tomorrow at 10 o'clock on NFL Countdown, presented by Snickers. Chris Berman and the guys with all the latest news and updates around the NFL. And before you set your lineup, you can catch fantasy football now at 11 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2. Our experts provide all the latest injury reports and predict the top fantasy performers. You can get both those shows on Watch ESPN as well. Brandon Harris had done a nice job leading LSU to scores. He's led them to 3 3-and-out so far in the first quarter.
8 runs and only 1 pass. Make that 9-1.
Fournette, nice spin, shows some power, and backflips his way maybe to a first down.
Gaining yards on first down has not been a problem for LSU. They've run it every time, and it's been good. But they've got to get some chunk plays, and those are going to come off of play action and throwing the ball down the field.
This one picks up 10. Their trouble's been second down. They've gone backwards just about every time they've had a second down and short. This time they get all 10 of it out to the 35. First down. Their initial first down of the ball game. Fournette again. And the freshman tailback still grinding away. He got about 8 yards as we check in with Holly.
These Auburn fans have done a nice job making this a difficult work environment for the freshman quarterback, Brandon Jennings. Guys, I've got the decibel meter out. It's been upwards of 107 decibels here. It's the loudest game we've been to all year so far when LSU has the ball. Even when they showed Alabama lost on the Jumbotron, that only was 96 decibels, so they're making it a hard place to work.
Only Holly would have a decibel meter. 2nd and 2. Toss to Fournette, and he's got the first down.
I wonder if she has to do something special at the airport.
I don't know.
You know, put it through the X-ray or something. I don't know. Now's a perfect chance for LSU to go play action and try to throw the ball with Brandon Harris. Again, it's easier for a young quarterback to throw on early downs than it is on 3rd down, particularly on the road. They're running with great success on first down. Now's a good chance to let him air it out a little bit.
He likes Malachi Dupree, his fellow freshman, who's down to the bottom of your screen. There's the bootleg. And he's airing it long for Dupree, and he's got it. Down to the 1. 52 yards.
He's got a nice chemistry with Dupree. We saw Nick Marshall throw one that you say maybe you shouldn't have. He's rolling to his right. He's throwing across his body, but you see the incredible arm strength of this young quarterback. Rolling to his right, back across his body, and still got the ball to Dupree for the big completion.
So it's 1st and goal. LSU. They're 18 out of 20 in the red zone. This one couldn't be much redder. Those pom-poms couldn't be much more orange.
This is where Harris has to really be sure that he gets the snap. Again, he hasn't spent a lot of time under center, and on goal line plays, you have to really ride with the center and secure that snap.
Really important here that they get the touchdown. So Les Miles says, let's talk about this thing. Use a timeout right here with 1:32 remaining. Coming up on Monday Night Football, Seahawks. Russell Wilson and company will head east. They'll take on Kirk Cousins and the Redskins. Kirk got roughed up a little bit the other night. Monday, 8:15 on ESPN and Watch ESPN. No other night like Monday. There's the numbers on the 2 quarterbacks. 6 touchdowns and only 1 interception for Russell Wilson. And it was a 4-interception day the last time Kirk played. Going to have some of those days, I guess.
Yeah. Play that position, you will.
First and goal at the 1.
LSU has run the ball well so far in this game, but they have to get a touchdown here. Their best offensive lineman is Lyle Collins, number 70. Sometimes they'll shift him over to the other side, but I would run behind number 70.
That's where they're going. Kenny Hilliard, did he get there? He did. Touchdown, LSU. Hilliard, the senior, put him in the sure-handed one. And he's got a touchdown.
I think initially he landed on bodies instead of the ground, and his second effort was able to get him over the goal line. He was stopped initially, but because he was on bodies and not the ground, he was able to get that ball across the plane. As his elbows were going down, the ball was crossing the plane.
So they're taking a look at this one to make sure. Dave Kataya is our rules expert. He's up here in the booth with us. What do you think, partner?
Good comments by Todd. You look here, you can see that he's on bodies right now, still on bodies. Looks like he takes a lunge, and right there, we look like we have the ball penetrating the goal line. At the very least, this is going to stand, I would think.
I'm not sure his legs ever hit the ground until he was already with the football across the goal line.
I agree with you.
You know, Dave, one of the things that I always didn't know always, but I learned several years ago, I think is interesting, going into the end zone in order to be a touchdown, the ball just has to cross the plane a little bit. If you're trying to avoid a safety coming out of the end zone, the ball has to get all the way out of the end zone, right?
Right on the money, right on the money.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Boy, LSU needed that one.
They did. You're not going to beat Auburn with field goals, and you got to get some kind of momentum. And that was a good drive. And again, it's been their running game for the most part, but the one play action deep pass got them that chunk yardage they needed to get in scoring territory.
The chunk was 52. The touchdown was 1. Colby Delahousie in for the point after. 17-7. Minute 24 remaining. Kenny Hilliard's 5th touchdown on the ground this year has closed the gap. Won't. And all these folks are thinking, hey, maybe we can make the championship game again this year. Auburn with a 10-point lead and a possibility moving all the way up to number 2 in the standings, in the rankings in the country, with what happened elsewhere around college football today. And Ole Miss and Mississippi State, they were 11th and 12th respectively going in. They'll both move into the top 10. Never happened before that both Mississippi and Mississippi State have been in the top 10. So quite a day for the state, and it will be even a bigger thing now with the games coming up, and both those teams will be in the top 10.
What a payoff today. Game day was in Oxford. SEC Nation was in Starkville. Both home teams won. Unbelievable day.
Domingue to kick off. This one should be returnable for Corey Grant. Grant weaving his way out across the 25 near the 28-yard line. Talking about what's going on today. 4 top 6 teams losing in the regular season week in history in 1936. Today, Oregon, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M. And Auburn is a question mark, but right now they got a 10-point lead. Florida State, Thursday was Oregon. They lost to Arizona.
We talked about this Auburn offense. We showed a graphic earlier that since Gus Malzahn has been the head coach, they've run the ball 69% of the time. But they're much more diverse this year because of the improved passing of Nick Marshall. Their rushing numbers are a little down, but they're more diverse.
Quick throw this time to the tight end. He only got about a yard.
Now, last year they led the nation in rushing, 328 yards per game. They're different this year. They're missing. Greg Robinson was a great left tackle. Jay Prosh, that H-back, their lead blocker guy, was an outstanding football player. They're not quite the same, but they're better throwing the football.
Let's see if they throw here on 2nd down and 9. Marshall will fires a slant. It's tipped and almost picked off. Jefferson had his hands on it. It was Beckwith with that deep drop in the middle linebacker spot that got a hand in there.
Nice job by Kendall Beckwith reading the eyes. Watch him. He lets go of the receiver. He gets locked on the eyes of the quarterback and times his jump and almost creates a big turnover for his team.
So 3rd and long for Auburn. When they're 3rd and 5 or less, they're pretty versatile on whether or not they want to run or pass. This, you would think, is going to put them in a passing situation.
I would expect to see LSU play a zone defense and not man-to-man to prevent a quarterback scramble.
Blitz off the corner. Marshall throws. Oh, and what a catch by Duke Williams. Are you kidding? He caught the back end of that thing.
He has a tremendous catch radius. Anything within 10 feet of him, the coaches said he's going to get. He doesn't bobble the ball. He snatches it out of the air, and a huge conversion on 3rd down there.
Pick up at 26. What a great catch. First down at the 45. They go back to Artis Payne, who pops out of the backside. Payne tripped up. But another big gain. 34 yards.
Great job by the tight end, Uzoma, and watch the backside guard pulling in there. Devontae Danzy, number 53, pulled around, got the lead block for Cameron Artis Payne.
At the 11-yard line. They go right back to him. They got to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. What a first quarter we've had. A lot of fireworks, especially on Auburn's side of things. They can talk it over. We'll switch ends. We played 15 in a battle of Tigers, and the Auburn Tigers have a 10-point cushion.
Number 70.
That's where they're going. Hilliard this season. Take a look at tonight's Good Hands play brought to you by Allstate. I think you know where I'm going with this one. I thought Nick Marshall overthrew him by 3 yards. And there's the catch by Duke Williams.
Well, Duke Williams is a big-time receiver and a big physical target. And Sammy Coates, when he gets 100% healthy, that just gives them 2 legitimate weapons on the perimeter for Nick Marshall to throw to. Hard guys to cover, and really hard guys to cover in this part of the field, too. And the other guy that they'll put out a wide receiver sometime, who's another matchup problem, is a tight end, Uzoma, who's out there right now.
Auburn on pace for 988 yards in the game in total offense, as you saw what they did in the first quarter. Second down just outside the 10. Marshall pumps and that fires to the corner, and he overshot everybody, and it was the guy Todd was talking about. Use him up. And a flag down. Haven't had a lot of penalties so far, which is a good night.
Personal foul. Defensive face, hands to face, number 57. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Wow, what a costly penalty, because they were going to have Auburn in 3rd and 10. There he is right in the middle of the screen. Got that right hand up into the face mask. An easy call for the official. And a costly penalty for LSU.
First and goal. Bo Jackson on his knees near the goal line. 85 Heisman Trophy winner from right here at Auburn, obviously.
Movement by Sean Coleman, the left tackle. He's going to back it up
False
5.
start, offense, 72, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Bo was in town. They had a big Letterman's golf outing yesterday. Beautiful day for it. Had a great turnout, I think. I was over there at the country club working out and saw a bunch of the guys over there.
There's Bo with his Heisman. Cam Newton had one, and Pat Sullivan was the first Heisman winner of the 3 here, with statues outside Jordan-Hare Stadium for all 3 of them. Nick Marshall is going to keep this one. And LSU does a nice job of stretching it out or running him out of bounds.
Jamal Adams came up from his safety position. He didn't make the tackle, but he was able to slow Nick Marshall up just enough to get some help. If he wouldn't have tripped him up a little bit, Nick Marshall would have turned the corner and got into the end zone. Jamal Adams playing a lot tonight in place of Dwayne Thomas, a sophomore. Jamal's going to be a great player, they think, but he's a true freshman as well out of Carrollton, Texas.
Second down and goal at the 9. Marshall rolls to throw. Fires to the end zone. Wide open. The tight end for the touchdown.
Well, they fooled LSU. They caught him with an unbalanced line, and nobody Uzomah was. He was lined up in the left tackle position, but he was an eligible receiver, and nobody knew where he came from.
His second touchdown grab of the year. He had one last week as well. Carlson in for the point after. Right back to a 17-point lead.
See, this right here is Sean Coleman, the left tackle, lined up as the tight end. This is Uzomah, lined up as a left tackle, but he's an eligible receiver, and he's going to cross into the end zone, and LSU thinks he's an offensive lineman, and nobody picks him up. Excellent design, perfect call at the right time, and formation fooled this young LSU defense.
Uzomah sort of looking around like he was going to take a hit, and there was nobody there to touch him. So Nick Marshall with a couple of touchdown passes and one on the ground.
How about the balance of this Auburn offense? Run-pass balance. We didn't see this last year. They were so run-heavy, and they were a great team, but it's 12-12 right now. And both things are working for the Auburn Tigers.
LSU better figure some things out over there in that huddle on both sides of the ball, or it's going to be a long night here on the Plains.
Well, we saw Dak Prescott and Mississippi State dissect him 2 weeks ago in Baton Rouge. And just run and pass pretty much at will. Had complete control of that game to the very end.
I was thinking watching that game today, which game did Dak play better in, the one we saw or the one today? At least today was at home. What he did on the road was pretty impressive too. Carlson to kick. No chance for Fournette. Yeah, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup heads to the contender round. Now 12 battle and 8 advance. Brad Kozlowski won at Chicago. Joey Logano at New Hampshire. Jeff Gordon on the Monster Mile in Dover. Now the points are reset. It's a fresh start. It's at 1 o'clock on ESPN tomorrow.
LSU has to hope they can put a drive together, if for no other reason, to let that defense rest and recover and try to get some things figured out with John Chavis.
Terrence McGee is back at tailback, flanking Harris, and he'll get the carry. And he's done a nice job on first down every time he's touched tonight. He's still going. Finally dragging down. They got about 7. Big games yet to come tonight in EBC and following us on ESPN. It's been one of those days that we always say upset Saturday is going to happen at some point, and it's happened 4 times already in the last 2.5 days. McGee going to be dragged down before he can get to the line of scrimmage. Nice job by Chris Frost, who was another one of those linebackers that was kind of a question mark all week because he didn't have a chance to practice much.
Banged up his knee last week. He was able to practice on Thursday, but had no contact all week until tonight.
LSU's Tigers haven't converted a 3rd down yet. They still haven't. Way too high for Doral, incomplete. Frustration a little bit starting to show now on the face right there. Brandon Harris. Anthony Jennings still with a headset on. Comes over to have a word with the younger quarterback. Both of those guys are young. One's a sophomore, one's a freshman. Jamie Keene, that's Quan Bray, and again we said when he gets his hands on it, watch out. But job by Keene tonight has been to get it that far in the air to force the fair catch, and he did it again around the 21-yard line. 12:50 remaining first half.
Unbelievable day by LSU. Intercepted by Ken Elvis. He will score. War Eagle, the cry here now. Intercepted again, and he will score. Into traffic. Intercepted. He will score. And by goodness, that should do it for Auburn.
One of the magical moments in this history in the series, one of the 20 wins for Auburn. Gus Malzahn called a team meeting the other day, said, whoever's beaten LSU, raise your hand. Jeff Whitaker's the only guy that put his hand up. Gus obviously knew the answer to the question before he asked, but that's how hungry they are to snap a 3-game losing skid against the Bayou Bengal Tigers, and they're off to a great start right now with a 24-7 lead.
Yeah, LSU's won 6 of the last 7 matchups. The only LSU win during that time was 2010, their national championship season with Cam Newton. I think Cam ran for over 200 yards in that game as well. Huge game for him.
2nd down and 9 for the Auburn offense.
See, last year, 2nd down and 9 was really bad news for Auburn because their passing game wasn't as developed as it is now.
Marshall's going to flare it out to Artis Payne in the flat. Welder trying to track him down. He got around him. He got the first down and then some. Nice move and a nice play. He left the middle linebacker in his tracks.
Good job by Nick Marshall looking downfield and then coming off. Sets his eyes downfield and then comes off to Cameron Artis Payne, and he's able to just outrun Welter to the first down marker.
On his own read, Marshall keeps it. Gets out across the 40 to the 42. You mentioned Kendall Beckwith earlier. Welter is the guy that kind of runs the show at middle linebacker, but he's limited physically compared to Kendall Beckwith, who's got a lot more speed. Beckwith maybe makes that tackle.
Beckwith has more speed and size, but just doesn't have the experience or the knowledge right now.
And Artis Payne's got another first down run to the 48.
Great double team that time. Dismukes in the left guard. Devontae Danzy opening things up.
Back in LSU territory and looking for more. This time the short throw and about a 2-yard gain from Marcus Davis. Jalen Mills was the first guy there.
I don't think you're going to see Gus Malzahn or Rhett Lashley, the offensive coordinator, take their foot off the gas. I mean, they know they've got it clicking right now offensively. The last 2 weeks, they got off to slow starts. Out in Manhattan, Kansas, they went 0 for their first 5 third down situations. It was a low-scoring game. They gutted out a win. Last week, they started slowly against Louisiana Tech here at home and then got it going. But tonight, they are really moving. 290 yards of offense so far with 11 minutes left in the second quarter. And it's run-pass balance. They really have LSU defense on their heels.
That's Jamarie Roscoe, the defensive end, the senior, one of the captains that's down. He was in on that tackle on the last play. You see Mills is there, and then he comes in and did more damage to himself than he did to Davis. Hopefully he's all right. Coming off on his own power anyway. Deshaun Bauer will come in to take his spot in the LSU lineup. So that slowed down the Auburn offense because of the injury just for a second, but they're back on the ball and ready to go. Second down and 8 at the LSU 46. See all the receivers looking to the sideline along with the quarterback. Everybody has a look, and now they're set. They're going to let the tailback Artis Payne handle it again, and he didn't get anything. Hunter made the stop, and it's 3rd down and long.
I think the offensive line has played much better tonight for Auburn. You know, they had to make a change because of the injury to Patrick Miller, but that happened in the game last week. So this combination that's out there right now together, that's how they finished the game last week at Louisiana Tech. So it's not a completely new combo that they started the game with tonight.
And the guy they got pitching it back to the quarterback is one of the best centers in the country. I think we did his first game when he started as a freshman in like week 1. He hadn't been out of there since. That's Reese Dismukes. Marshall, deep ball. Incomplete, intended for Sammy Coates again.
Nice job in coverage by Jalen Collins. You know, they've thrown it up and given Sammy Coates a chance to make plays on the ball. That time Jalen Collins did a nice job of using his body to kind of run Coates towards the sideline to make it very difficult to make a play on the ball.
Well, LSU, I'm sure, would have liked to stop them a little bit shorter field position wise of where they are, but at least they force the punt. Jimmy Hutchinson will kick. So as we told you, we thought that maybe Carlson would get spelled at times with all the kicking chores that he already does. So here's a different punter for the first time in a while. And a fair catch on the other end, taken at the 17 by Tre'Davious Whites with 9:56 remaining in the half.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by AARP, Real Possibilities, and Cars.com. All drive, no drama.
Bo Jackson's statue outside Jordan-Hare. He was honored before the game. Jay Jacobs, the athletic director, there with him. And he's an honorary captain for the Tigers tonight. 1985 Heisman Trophy winner. One of the all-time college football greats, not just here, but ever, anywhere. Here's a toss to Fournette. Nice job. Follows his blockers. Moncrief knocked him down after he picked up 7.
Well, here's a weird thing for LSU offensively. They now have 108 yards of total offense, and almost all of it except 107 of that has come on first down. They've run it and they threw the long pass on first down. They just got to stay in first down, I guess.
That's the key. This happens to be 2nd and 4. Got that full house set in the backfield again. Not going to get the first down. A couple yards shy for Fournette.
We haven't seen any zone read from Brandon Harris yet. That's what he did in high school. That's why he was recruited very heavily by both of these schools. Gus Malzahn and Auburn recruited him just as heavily as LSU. And we haven't seen that yet, that part of his game.
Third down and a yard. Darrell Williams, the other freshman tailback, in for LSU.
Well, they look confused in the play clock down to 6 seconds. They're going to have to call timeout. I would call timeout. I wouldn't call snap this ball.
And the timeout must have come from Les on the sideline.
Yeah, Les called it. Now, you have to. You can't rush into this third down and short play because you really need to convert. Your defense is having a very difficult time stopping Auburn. You've got to convert this.
Let's check in with Holly.
Well, you talked about the recruitment of LSU quarterback Brandon Harris, but look at this photo of him on a recruiting visit. It really did come down to LSU and Auburn. He was recruited heavily by Gus Malzahn, who they like to call him a mini Cam after Cam Newton, but he did choose LSU. He's here starting in his first game tonight, and the offensive coordinator for LSU has another comparison for him. He calls him Antoine Randall, a taller, skinnier version, the great quarterback he coached at Indiana.
Well, they were that close, and can just about say the same for anybody else in the country trying to get him, and I can see why. But tonight he's had a little bit of a struggle here in the first half.
He's talented. They got off to a slow start. They were a little conservative, and then all of a sudden they found themselves way behind because of how well Auburn's offense is playing. So there's a lot of football left, but they're going to have to let him open it up a little bit because he is talented throwing it, and we haven't seen much of that tonight. The 152-yard completion, the only thing he's got to show for the passing game. Meanwhile, Nick Marshall Marshall throwing it really well.
Extra tight ends in there. They toss it. I'm not sure about that call. Turn and toss it to your tailback on third down and a couple. And he lost yardage. 0 for 5 on third downs.
Well, they got penetration, and Ethan Posick, the right guard, is trying to pull around. Watch number 77 get knocked off course. The penetration slowed the play down, but I agree with you. It wasn't a really well executed play because of the penetration. I think it was Gabe Wright, number 90, who got the initial penetration into the backfield that forced that play to kind of blow up.
Jamie Keene will have to punt. Quan Bray, they've kept him from any big returns so far because of the hang time he's gotten on the punts. And he's got to call another one here and a diving catch around the 36-yard line. 7:40 remaining in the first half. Auburn up by 17 here at home.
Reese Davis with you in the studio. USC and Arizona State. As you know, Arizona State got throttled by UCLA in its last game, punting it to Nelson Aguilar. The unconventional catch with his hands. No Sun Devils in his way. 52 yards. Trojans up 7-0 in the first.
Well, there's the feeling when you're on the road and your first start in the SEC as a freshman quarterback and your team is down 17. You sort of sit over there by the equipment box and go, man, I hope this night gets better.
Well, if it doesn't get better on third down for LSU, it's not going to get any better. 0 for 5 right now and really struggling.
On first down here, it's Cameron Artis-Payne who's done most of the work as the tailback for Auburn.
It's a 32nd offensive play Auburn's run the first half, only 1 for negative yardage.
This time Marshall's going to keep it. Got past the first man and got hit pretty good by Lamar Lewis as he got near midfield out to the 49. And it brings up a third down and short. We asked Rhett Lastly, the offensive coordinator, are you going as fast as you want to? And he said, well, part of that's we got to get first downs or you can't go fast. And they've done a pretty effective job of getting first downs here in this first half. Third and a couple. Uzuma, the tight end, in motion and sets up. Draw play. Artis-Payne straight ahead. Nope. Didn't get there. Nice job by LSU. Marquise Bain off the defensive line made the stop.
It's kind of a smoke draw. The line shows like they're turned one way. It's kind of a delayed draw. Good discipline again by LSU.
They're going to go on 4th and 1. 1 out of 2 on the year on 4th down conversions. A little bit of a gamble here for Gus Malzahn.
He may just be trying to draw. Who knows? Now he's going to let that play clock go down. I think he's just tried to draw him off sides. He was kind of going through some antics on the sideline to show like he was ready for them to call the play and snap it and go.
I ask him.
He brings the whole team over with the timeout with 5:57 remaining.
I mean, really, you're smart to punt the football here because you've got the lead. Your defense has played extremely well. You've got this LSU offense bottled up. Why give them something here late in the first half to give them a little bit of energy and a little bit of juice?
Actually, there was a delay of game penalty. It wasn't a timeout, so gives Carlson, their punter, an opportunity to blast one here. White's back at the 10-yard line waiting for LSU. And he'll take it at the 11 and go down. Maybe not. Tre'Davious White. Oh, he was about a man away from breaking one there. Nice return after what looked like it was going to be a loss. He got 10 yards on the return. When return, it's going to be LSU offensively. Some of the LSU fans that have made the trip here to Auburn. 17-point difference right now. 5:43 to go in the half, and LSU could use any kind of score here before halftime.
That is faux sure.
Terrence McGee's been their most effective back tonight so far. He's in there with Brandon Harris on first down from the 20.
I think they got to make hay on first and second down. They got to try to keep their young quarterback out of third down situations.
His quarterback draw all the way. He follows McGee. So the first time the play was really designed for him to carry it, and he got 5. They've had too many 3 and outs and too many third down failed conversions so far in the first half. 2nd and 5.
Pressure look for Auburn. They shifted late on this second down. It's a double eagle look. They cover up the center and both guards and bring 2 edge rushers from the outside.
Harris looking left the whole way and way high and incomplete, intended for Dupree.
Yeah, that's the second time that we've seen Brandon Harris just airmail one. You know, when you see that look up front, that tells you it's man coverage. So you got one-on-one situations on the outside. Brandon Harris just way too high on this throw. He's got single coverage. He's got an opening. Bad throw and another third down situation.
He's only completed 1 pass, and that was the 52-yarder to Dupree that got him down to first and goal at the 1. That one's high too, and oh my goodness.
Wow. There's a targeting penalty maybe.
That was Trey Quinn, and I think we're going to have a targeting hit on Nick Ruffin.
Defenseless receiver, if nothing else. Oof.
Man, you hate to see those kind.
Another overthrown ball too by Brandon Harris.
Well, it might be shoulder, but man,
Yeah.
It's right to the helmet. Dave Kataya is our rules expert. Well, we'll let Matt Moore give us a call first.
Dead ball, personal foul with targeting. Number 19 of the defense. 15-yard penalty. The previous play is under further review.
So they'll obviously look at this. Dave, what do you think?
Well, it's automatically reviewed, as you said. This penalty will not go away because it was a late hit. The only question is, did he target him? Did he hit him above the shoulder? Take a look here. That's right in the neck area. I'm not sure they're going to have enough to reverse the ejection.
So, in other words, it doesn't have to be that he led with his helmet. The fact that he hit him in the head or neck area.
You can't hit with the helmet, arm, shoulder, anything above the head.
Right.
That's got to be clearly below the neck in order for them to reverse it. But we'll see.
Just a vicious collision. 2 true freshmen meeting back there in the secondary.
You know, to the defender's credit, he did try to turn and hit with the shoulder, but as Dave's saying, it's where that hit landed that's in question right now.
And the call from Matt Moore.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Number 19 has been disqualified. 15-yard penalty remains. First down.
So that's the end of the night for Nick Ruffin.
It might be the end of the night for Trey Quinn as well.
You're right. Quinn over there on the bench with his helmet off. And Nick Ruffin says, do I have to leave or can I just stand here and watch?
He needs to leave.
That's right. And they got to send him. And finally, he got the word he's got to head to the locker room. Meanwhile, it's first down for LSU at the 41. Harris still hasn't completed another pass, trying to get it to Connor Neighbors, which should be a little bit easier throw, and he threw it way over his head too. You know, everything goes right sometimes when you're home and you're playing New Mexico State and you throw for 3 touchdowns and you run for a couple. Well, this ain't New Mexico State, and he ain't home either. Brandon Harris, that is. It's a rough place. It's a rough game, and we might see that guy before the night's over if it doesn't improve. Second down at 10. Harris in the gun. And under the gun. Running for his life. Going to throw deep on the sideline, and he actually had a guy open, and he overthrew Durrell again. Durrell had a step or two back there on Jonathan Ford.
You know, Durrell tried to turn and go with the quarterback. Frost is applying pressure. This time Harris did need to leave the pocket. If Durrell would have turned a little faster and headed downfield, he might have been out there open. Watch, he's a little bit late on how he decides to turn upfield. And he's looking over the wrong shoulder initially. If he turns over that inside shoulder and takes off, that's probably a completion.
Third down at 10.
No.
Late and over the middle and almost intercepted by Holsey.
Yeah, Brandon Harris is just, he's flustered. You know, he left the pocket because pressure forced him out on second down. On third down, it was a three-man rush. He didn't have to go anywhere. It's a three-man rush. Stay right there. You don't need to leave the pocket. Just move a little bit. And then throwing late over the middle across his body. Very lucky that wasn't an interception going the other way.
So LSU wasted excellent field position after that penalty on the hit by Ruffin, and they come away with nothing except a punt. And not a very good one at that. Goes out of bounds at the 19-yard line as we check in with Holly.
Well, you guys said the young freshman for LSU looks a little flustered at quarterback in Brandon Harris, but I've been observing the backup, Anthony Jennings, who'd been the starter all season until tonight. All throughout this first half, he has been very involved. He's been going over, speaking to the offensive line, asking them questions about what's happening out there. I just saw him greet a wide receiver as he came off the field to ask him about the route that they ran. Oftentimes, he's the first guy out there welcoming the guys back. He has stayed very involved and mentally engaged if they need him.
That's a credit to his character, Brandon Jennings, because he still sees himself and recognizes himself as a leader on this football team.
Marshall pump fake one way. They finally are going to get to him. Bring him down for a loss. First sack of the night. Lost about 5. Lockature is the guy that's going to get him with help from his friends, and it backs it up to second down at 15. Been very few times when Auburn's been in a situation like this tonight where they're second down and behind the sticks this far. Now they shift Artis Payne to his right side. And it's a throw all the way if he can get time to make it. Marshall back across the middle. Got it. Sammy Coates again. And Coates got a blocker in front. Sammy Coates, big night for Sammy, kind of like last year, even though it was a loss. He's got 29 more right there.
Rasco has a great pass rush. Watch number 59 run right through Cameron Artis Payne, but he can't get Nick Marshall on the ground. And again, that dangerous throw back to the middle, but Sammy Coates makes the most of it.
Out to the 43. And now Marshall wanting to throw from the other side. He'll keep it instead. He's got another first down. Nick Marshall.
It's a tough play to defend because he's out there with a run or pass option. And if LSU guards the pass, he can run the football. And he's done that twice now. Both times they've called that play.
He's halfway to 100. And Artis Payne up the middle. LSU's defense showing some fatigue right now. He goes for 11 yards.
When you don't convert third downs, your defense ends up staying on the field a lot. A lot of extra plays for this LSU defense right now.
Down to the 3-minute mark. And now the zone read. It's Marshall keeping it. And he got 2. Daniil Hunter made the stop.
Coming into the game, this LSU defense giving up a lot of rushing yards. 3rd most in the SEC, 162 yards a game. But even worse, the 6th most in the country to opposing quarterbacks. We saw Dak Prescott run for 105 yards against him 2 weeks ago. And Nick Marshall very close to that now.
Nick went over 100 last week in the victory over Louisiana Tech, and as I mentioned, he's about halfway to that total right now, the 105 he had last week. Here he wants to throw. Got a man open, but he threw it behind him. Artis Payne couldn't scrape it off the turf, and it'll be 3rd down and 8. And again, you see Nick Marshall pat his 14 as if to say, that one's my fault.
You know, sometimes it's easy to forget that this guy started his career at Georgia as a defensive back.
I know.
And he's now a quarterback who played in the national championship game last year and is leading a high-powered offense this year. And his footwork still gets him in trouble every now and then.
This would be a big stop for LSU if they can prevent this 3rd down conversion.
I'm Nick Marshall. I'm looking for Duke Williams. He's right here in the slot. I'm looking for his big body.
Quarterback draw. He's going to get the first and more. Marshall might go. Touchdown. .29 yards for the score.
Well, that's a big-time play by Nick Marshall, but that's a tired LSU defense also. Sloppy tackling, and they gave up an easy touchdown.
Carlson's extra point is good.
You've got to rush the passer with discipline. You've got to cover all the gaps, and you've got to tackle in space. Wide opening for Marshall, and then 2 missed tackles, and that's just fatigue as much as anything.
Second rushing touchdown of the night for Nick. Great move on the defensive back, Ronald Martin. And then he gets to the end zone before they can capture the elusive Auburn quarterback. 81 yards on the ground now and 2 touchdowns.
Good blocking by Chad Slade and Reese Dismukes, but bad defense by LSU.
Total offense for Auburn tonight.
379 yards.
We still got a couple minutes left in the half. But if LSU can't get something going, Auburn might get the ball back.
And the balance, you know, it's a different looking Auburn offense. You still have Nick Marshall running it. You still have Cameron Artis Payne, but it's not just the grinded out power running game that we saw last year that took them to the national championship game. It's a mixture. It's balance.
This one not going to be returned either. Had a little bit too much speed on it down there for Fournette.
We talked about opposing quarterbacks running against this LSU defense. 2 weeks ago, we saw Dak Prescott. Linebacker takes one side, leaves an opening on the right side that Prescott exploits, and there's 2 unblocked guys that have to come up with a tackle. And nobody makes the tackle. Dak Prescott eludes both. And then tonight, same kind of situation. Linebacker goes one way, leaves a crease, unblocked man, got to make a tackle in space, can't get it done. And back-to-back times, we see quarterbacks make this LSU defense pay, and pay dearly.
Empty backfield for Harris. And now Williams will come and join him. He's in trouble again. Got a screen pass complete to Williams, who got decked after a pickup of about 3. Therizi made the stop as we check in with Reese.
Brad, coming up on the Buick halftime report, there's going to be a major shakeup in the top 6. Top 2 might look just like the end of last year, though. Everything is rosy in the Magnolia State of Mississippi, and Everett Golson's heroics all coming up in just a bit.
They're having some hot toddies in Oxford tonight. Here's Harris trying to run for it. Got to the 31.
You know, we talked about LSU's problems on 3rd down tonight. You know, last year this team led the nation in 3rd down conversion, 57%. Coming into tonight's game, 42%. They are 0 for 7 in the ball game tonight. And that has forced their defense to play too many plays in the first half.
They've got another one here. Still looking for a conversion. Not going to get it. Well, maybe. No, I don't think so. Williams dropped about a yard shy of the first down by Gabe Wright. We're under a minute. LSU has one timeout left.
Gabe Wright, at the end of last year, Ellis Johnson told us he was far and away their best interior defensive lineman. But when they started this season, he didn't play at the same level, and he wasn't always starting early this year. But the last 2 weeks, he's played very strong, and he's off to another good start tonight. And speaking of off to a good start,
yeah. How about this guy? I think he watched Dak Prescott today and said, yeah, I think I can do this. There was a long ball. Sammy Coates somehow took it through 2 guys for the touchdown. Nick said, well, I think I can do it myself this time. His first of 2 rushing touchdowns. Goes to his tight end, who's wide open for his second touchdown pass. And then moments ago on the quarterback draw, made a defensive back look sort of silly and then turned on the burners. Quarterback comparison, there isn't any.
No.
Not yet. And they go on 4th down and they get it as McGee's taking it out to the 47-yard line.
LSU with 1 timeout left as the clock is under a minute. Stops until they reset the chains.
Seven of the last 10 games between these 2 teams has been decided by a touchdown or less, and that's not the case through 2 quarters right now. Harris, 1 completion tonight, looking for another. Well, he got it, but he got his tailback hammered as well by Holsey. That was a flag down.
Yep. Brandon Harris just is not comfortable in the pocket tonight. I'm a little surprised by that. I thought he'd be a little bit more poised in the pocket, but he is rattled, and he is quick to leave the pocket. Sometimes you see ghost when you're a quarterback.
Yep. Ineligible receiver downfield is going to negate the other completion he just made, so take that one back away. A 1 completion night, and that was a 52-yarder that got him to the 1-yard line, and that's the only touchdown they scored by Hilliard. First and 15. Harris deep right sideline, just over the fingertips of Durrell again.
See the dilemma for Les Miles, if you're wondering will we see Anthony Jennings in the second half or not, is Anthony Jennings doesn't give you the same skill set throwing the football that Brandon Harris does. And so if you're going to have to throw to get back in this game, you're better off with Harris, but you got to settle him down at halftime. The one thing Jennings might bring you is a little calm in the huddle and on the field, but he doesn't throw the football as well as Harris does.
What Cam Cameron does, the offensive coordinator, to calm this kid down at halftime might be the biggest adjustment they can make at halftime. Runs out of the pocket, and now he's got some room to go. And he runs by a defender, a couple, and he gets all the way down to the 24-yard line. 32-yard scramble.
Only 10 seconds left in the first half.
And he's limping a little bit, Todd, as he's trying to get everybody up to clock it. Spike the ball.
Got to spike the ball. Be ready to snap the ball. The clock is moving. They're wasting time right now. They're wasting time. They only got 1 play left now.
Well, now they're going to go for it. He's going to go to the end zone. And it's knocked away, intended for Durrell.
That's, that he needed some help on the sideline there. That can't just be the quarterback. He's got to know better than that. But with the clock running, you got to use that timeout. That was a wasted opportunity for LSU because of poor field management in the last 10 seconds.
Go down to Holly.
Well, Coach, you guys had struggled on 3rd down the last 2 games, but tonight your offense is starting to click. What's the biggest difference?
Well, we hit a couple passes early. I think it loosened things up, got the running game going, and our quarterbacks played extremely well.
There's only 1 kid on your team that has played and won against LSU. What will you remind them of in the locker room right now in the half so more guys have that experience?
Yeah, well, it's 31-7. We get the ball first. We need to go down and score, but the bottom line, it's a very good team over there, and they're not going to quit, and we're not going to quit either, so we need to play good football in the second half.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Most points allowed by Les Miles' team in a first half. 31, and it's 31-7. Quite a first half for the Auburn Tigers on their home field as we send it to Reese Davis and the guys in the Buick halftime report.
A battle of two teams in the top 15.
Marshall wanted to go deep again, and now he does. And it is caught by Coates. Touchdown. This time Marshall keeps it. And he's going to score. Touchdown.
But I would run behind number 70.
That's where they're going. Kenny Hilliard, did he get there? He did. Touchdown, LSU. Marshall rolls to throw. Fires to the end zone. Wide open for the touchdown. Quarterback draw. He's going to get the first. Marshall might go. Touchdown. And we welcome you back to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Tigers of Auburn putting it on the Tigers of LSU right now. The SEC on ESPN, key battle, and the SEC West completing an unbelievable day so far of play in this conference and upsets around the country. Doesn't look like we're going to have one. Welcome back to Jordan-Hare, everybody. Brad Nessler and Todd Blackledge. That 379 right there in total yards, most ever given up by Les Miles' LSU team, second most all time. But I got to go back to what Holly talked with Gus Malzahn going to the locker room. So what do you have to do in the second half? We got to get the ball first and go down and score.
Yeah, and they might.
Yeah.
I mean, LSU had trouble stopping anything. I mean, it was great balance, run and pass, and I don't know if you could play any better than Nick Marshall did. 262 total yards. He accounted for 4 touchdowns. He had it rolling in the first half.
Well, we'll see if they keep it rolling in the third quarter. They're going to get the football first, as we said. Corey Grant and Rock Thomas are waiting on the third quarter kickoff.
Auburn averaged 9.2 yards per play in the first half. That's ridiculous.
The people that thought that their offense wasn't clicking, they're not saying that right now. As we check in with Holly.
Our youthful quarterback has got to relax. That's what Les Miles said at the half. He said there's just some simple things, some rudimentary things that they're not getting to in an execution standpoint. He said, I did talk to him at the half, tried to get him to relax and say, hey, look, just stay within the call, stay within the moment and get to the throw. I asked him what temptation he has to put in Anthony Jennings, a more experienced guy this season. He said, of course there's temptation, but right now we're just trying to grow up Brandon Harris. Just keep in mind, he did ask the athletic trainers to take a look at his right ankle just now, pointing to just above his right ankle, but he is limping a little bit.
So Auburn will work at the 25-yard line. Play action. They're going to throw on first down.
Nice play.
About a 4-yard gain by Ricardo Lewis.
Ronald Martin made a beautiful play right there because he was being blocked and he just drove the man blocking him back into the receiver and then grabbed a hold of the jersey. Watch number 26 take his man right into the intended receiver and then grab the jersey.
Saved a bigger gain for sure. 4-yard pickup. Set in a pistol set, and now they move Artis Payne, and he'll get the call. It'll be about a yard shy of the first down. The best thing LSU could hope for is an Auburn 3-and-out to start the third quarter. And the Tigers go and hurry up. Artis Payne didn't, well, yes, he did. Second effort, he got it.
Yeah, nice instinctive spin move by Artis Payne because he was stopped initially, but his legs were not taken out, so he just spun off of it to his right and then surged forward for the first down.
Duke Williams in the slot to the top of your screen on 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Artis Payne again right into the thick of things, and Jamario Roscoe, who was shaken up earlier in the game, back in there. He made the tackle. Auburn again lines it up in a hurry. They average a play about every 24 seconds coming into tonight. I don't know how it's broken down so far this evening, but a big lead here, and they're, for the most part, keeping it rather conservative right now.
Well, they've got the matchup with Sammy Coates again at the bottom of the screen. He's been their go-to guy in these single coverage situations.
He's looking at him, and he's going for him, and through his hands, actually.
See, when you see that press coverage and you see the safety in the middle of the field, that invites you to take a shot at a big receiver. And one of the few times those two haven't connected tonight.
I'm not sure if Sammy got his head turned around quite in time. That ball kind of whizzed right past him, and it looked like it was catchable. 3rd down and 8. Marshall, plenty of time. Just about let it fly, and now he does. And that's into some coverage right there. Incomplete, intended for Coates. And Rashard Robinson is the guy that made the play.
Made a nice play on the ball. Because Nick Marshall was rolling out when he threw it, the ball had a little bit too much air under it, and that enabled Robinson to make a play back on the ball. Coates is open, but the ball kind of hung in the air a little bit, and Robinson was able to make a play on it.
So Carlson will punt. Tre'Davious White is back deep for LSU. They didn't get a 3-and-out, but they got after
an out.
They got an out. That's all they needed. Yeah, it didn't have to be in the first 3 plays. But after 7 plays, it was. LSU back on offense, trying to muster something when we come back. 31-7, Auburn Tigers, the SEC on ESPN here in the 3rd quarter. Talked about all the youth for LSU. 17 true freshmen have played. And there's what they've done in scoring. In fact, of all their freshmen, 20 of their 27 touchdowns have been attributed to freshmen. Well, those guys got to grow up right now in a hurry, or time's going to run out.
Well, and that's why I think you're going to see Brandon Harris stay in at quarterback, because it would be potentially devastating to him psychologically, I think, if they would have taken him out at this point. Let him fight through it a little bit.
Play action, trying to fight through the Auburn defense, and he's not going to get back to the line of scrimmage. Jonathan Ford helps out on the sack, along with Jonathan Mincy. So give the secondary that sack.
Auburn has not had a great 4-man pass rush this season. They really missed D. Ford. He was their main pass rusher last year. But now with this big lead, they are playing pass first and run second.
2nd down and 15. Again, they show that they might bring some pressure. It's Fournette. And he only got to the line of scrimmage, and then a form tackle by Jonathan Ford takes him down.
Started with Gabe Jackson, number 90, getting penetration. Watch number 90 stand up his man, get penetration. He got the first contact, and then Ford was able to wrap him up and finish him off.
Gabe Wright is what Todd meant. There he is, the big guy. Connor Neighbors is the injured party, down on one knee right now. The fullback. Those guys are involved in so many collisions through the course of the game. It looks like they're working on his right ankle. Senior out of Huntsville, Alabama, a guy that another Alabama native that would love to have come in here and won a big game and in what would have been an upset. Long way to go, but 24-point lead right now for Auburn.
You know, Holly talked about Les Miles saying this young quarterback needed to calm down, and you know, one of the things that was so noticeable in that first half is just his tendency to want to leave the pocket too soon. Now that time the pocket closed in on him, but in the first half he left the pocket too soon sometimes, and when you do that, you know, you really limit your opportunities of where you can throw the football down the field. Sometimes it's best to just move slightly in the pocket. That's why you see a guy like Peyton Manning, who's not a super mobile guy, but he can buy time in the pocket because you don't have to scramble out. Sometimes you just need to move a little bit and find a new throwing area.
3rd down and 15. And again, Harris having a hard time hearing himself. Silent count. Quarterback draw. Nice open field tackle. Looked like it could have been a bigger gainer, but Casanova McKenzie, the middle linebacker, makes the stop.
You know, we've called his name a lot tonight, and remember, he didn't practice at all this week. He had to go through a concussion protocol. He passed all the tests in the right time, but he had no practice time this whole week. And so it's a credit to him to stay mentally sharp and know the game plan and know everything he had to do without getting any physical reps this week.
6th 3 and out suffered by LSU so far tonight. The kick, Quan Bray's going to have a chance at this one. Made the first couple miss. Whoa. Got it from his own guy. Ran into some friendly fire after a 12-yard return. Auburn's got it back with a big lead when we return.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Prudential. Prudential, bring your challenges. And the Lincoln Motor Company and the first ever NKC.
Toomer's Corner here in Auburn, where even the fire hydrants are orange. Everybody decked in orange and navy here tonight. 87,451. Another sellout. Watching their Tigers put it on the Tigers from Baton Rouge right now here in the third quarter. Artis Payne off the left side for a couple. Jay Jacobs, the athletic director for Auburn, just poked his head in to say hi. He and his lovely wife Angie were nice enough to host us to a little soiree last night at their house. And Miss Eloise outcooked her coverage again. It was incredible.
Yeah, she stole the show again.
She did. I'm still feeling guilt over the apple pie and ice cream at the end of it all. But that's just me.
Wish I had some right now. I don't feel guilty.
The guys in the truck aren't guilty either. Again, same play. Artis Payne to the 50. Right now, Auburn would like to use a little bit of clock. Just keep grinding it out here.
Well, and I think Gus Malzahn would like to get some more points on the board so that he could maybe look to play Jeremy Johnson, his backup quarterback, in the fourth quarter. You know, feel comfortable. Jeremy Johnson played very well in the first half against Arkansas in the opening game when Nick Marshall had to sit out that first half. But he wants to keep him alive. Johnson was in for one play, that trick play where he threw the pass complete.
3rd and 6 here for Marshall. Again, down the middle, throws a strike to Coates again. Sammy Coates inside the 30. Having a big night for number 18, the junior out of Leroy, Alabama.
Just a confident throw by Nick Marshall, too. I mean, this is pretty good coverage. He's throwing it through zone windows, and a beautiful throw right on the chest of Sammy Coates.
21-yard pickup. I mentioned Sammy last year caught 4 passes for 139. He's got 4 for 144 and a touchdown tonight.
He's been bothered by a knee injury. Did not play in the San Jose State game. He's not 100% right now. Running straight ahead, he's pretty good. But he's struggled to stay in complete games, and he's struggled to get in and out of breaks. But this is the best he's probably looked in the last couple weeks.
Well, you know, Quan Bray had the big game last week. We know about what Duke Williams can do. So you get all those guys healthy at the same time, Todd, and you got some serious weapons to work with. Marshall approaching 100 yards on the ground as well tonight. And he's going for more. Got it. No. Dropped. And that was Duke Williams. That's one of the few times you'll see him drop one, but Jalen Mills was right there with him.
Yeah, can't throw it any better. Give your guy a chance, and credit Jalen Mills for not giving up on the play. I mean, he just fought all the way through this reception attempt and was able to rip it out at the last second.
Beautiful coverage.
Yep.
3rd down and 7 for Auburn. Just inside the LSU 26. Beckwith, the middle linebacker, making the calls this time, and it's quarterback draw. They're running right at him, and Beckwith drags him down. He and Quan Alexander combine on the stop.
And that's what you have to do. I mean, you've got to tackle the quarterback in space. When you play a mobile quarterback and you're running in coverage with spread wide receivers, your interior defensive players, those secondary level players, have got to tackle well in space. And that time, Beckwith made a solid tackle.
I think there was a thought there for a moment to maybe go for this, thinking you were never land with your kicker. But this guy's already hit a 46-yarder, a career long tonight. So they're going to give him a shot from 42. Busy kicker and punter, Daniel Carlson. Redshirt freshman out of Colorado Springs. Kick on the way, and he's got another one. So Auburn tacks on 3 more. Just a little over 7.5 to go third quarter, 34-7. What a day today in the Southeastern Conference, huh? Dak Prescott, sensational. Kevin Sumlin's team falls for the first time, one of the biggest wins in Mississippi State history. And then Alabama rolled into Oxford with the number 3 ranking, and Ole Miss with one of their biggest wins ever, 23-17. Brings us to our Aflac trivia question for the night. When was the last time Mississippi State and Ole Miss were ranked in the top 10 at the same time? Because they will be going into next week for sure after those 2 wins today. Give you the answer here coming up after the kickoff. I'm not going to give you a lot of time to think this one over, because I think we blew it and gave away the answer a little bit earlier. That was my fault. Carlson, busy kicker. Fournette will bring this one out from a couple yards deep, straight up the right sideline. He's got more action as a returner than he has as a tailback tonight. So the Aflac trivia question, we only gave you about 45 seconds. When was the last time those 2 teams were ranked in the top 10 at the same time? How about never? Never. Yeah. And never would we say Ole Miss and Mississippi State in the top 10. Yeah. What a day, man. Huh?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 2 great wins by them. And, of course, Auburn very impressive tonight. And we said, I mean, whoever wants to stay in the thick of things needs to win tonight. And Auburn, the defending SEC champion, but they've got a brutal schedule ahead after this game with all those teams that we're talking about still ahead.
And they've got Georgia and Alabama on the road, and we'll show you their schedule later, but it is brutal. And Gus Malzahn's talking with us yesterday, and he said, you know, everybody wants to talk about strength of schedule. He said, if anybody wants some of this, come get some. Right. Talking about his schedule. But they're really trying to keep focused a game at a time, because if you look ahead, it could drive you crazy.
Yeah, you have to. You know, and you think, well, that's just a coaching cliche. We're only taking 1 game at a time. Yeah. You literally have to, because as we've seen today, everybody can beat anybody in college football.
As we said earlier, an unprecedented day in one division of one conference. 3 games, 6 teams, all in the top 15. Coming into today, SEC West teams are 25-0 against everybody except themselves. Right. Everybody out of the SEC West, they hadn't lost a game. So for the case of these teams I'm talking about, they still haven't. They've lost games within their division, but not out.
You know what? We've talked about Nick Marshall and this offense all night, but let's credit this Auburn defense a little bit too, because they have been stout. And as you saw just a second ago, LSU is still looking for their first 3rd down conversion.
It'll be a tough one to get, 3rd and 13. He might not even get a pass away. He does, but it's way behind McGee, incomplete.
Auburn's defense coming into tonight has allowed 21 or fewer points in 4 straight games, and that's the first time that's happened since they did it 8 games in a row back in 2007, 2008. So it's been a pretty consistent year defensively for Auburn, and that's the 7th 3-and-out that they've forced. And you can say, yeah, well, Brandon Harris, a freshman quarterback, but they have been solid on the defensive side.
Here's the punt. It's a dandy, but Bray will take a shot at it from the 31. Got away from 1 man. And not the rest, though. Only about a 2-yard return for Quan Bray, who's already got a couple of touchdowns to his credit from punt returns already this year. Get your NFL started on ESPN at 10 o'clock in the morning. NFL Countdown presented by Snickers. Chris Berman and the guys with all the latest news and updates around the NFL right up until kickoff. And then for you fantasy football folks, 11 a.m. on ESPN2. Get the lineups set. The experts provide all the latest injury reports and all of that for you as well. That's both shows tomorrow morning also on Watch ESPN. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our ESPN crew here in Auburn, Alabama, Jordan-Hare Stadium, where it's been all the home Tigers right now, 34-7, with a little over 6 to go in the third quarter. Cameron Artis-Payne just dragging Lamar Lewis for about 3 yards. And Artis-Payne getting some pretty good numbers together right now as he's approaching the 100-yard mark. At 116 last week, 93 right now. LSU's defense has been out there, seems like, all night. Time of possession doesn't matter much to Auburn because usually they score so fast. But there's a ball out for the first time out of Marshall's hands. Let's see who's got it. LSU might.
Yeah, you know, Marshall had a shot at it, but he was fighting the ball for the ball with the defensive lineman, and I think the stronger guy may have ripped the ball away when they were on the ground. Marshall was actually the first guy going for the football.
I think Kendall Beckwith's the guy that's got it. Turnover number 1. And Jennings warming up. Apparently we're going to have a quarterback change.
Just a little mix up on the mesh point. You hold that in as long as you can, and as Nick Marshall's pulling the ball out, he loses it. And right there you can see Kendall Beckwith just stronger on the ground and pulled the ball away from Nick Marshall.
I think Nick probably should have let that one go a little earlier. He's not going to feel that wrist for a while.
Yeah.
So we got a new quarterback coming in. Anthony Jennings, the former starter out of Marietta, Georgia. There's his numbers on the year, and part of the reason, ineffectiveness, but also the turnover problems that he's had. Let's see if he can generate something for the LSU offense.
Well, I think if you're LSU, and if you're Anthony Jennings, you can't look at the scoreboard. You got to just play one play at a time and try to execute and do what you can do.
Wow, that Auburn defense stands up again, and Gabe Wright wraps around and brings Hilliard down behind the line of scrimmage.
Auburn has been good all season in stopping the run. Coming into the game tonight, only 91 yards per game and 2.6 yards per carry that they've allowed. And they have pretty much been close to that tonight.
They've done great with opponents' turnovers, and they need to add to that total right now. Jennings looking left the whole way, now tries to come back the other way. Throw on the run is complete to John Diarse. Pickup of only about 3 yards, though.
Interestingly, too, first possession that Brandon Jennings is in, or Anthony Jennings, the coverage that time was man with press coverage with a single free safety. When Harris was in, it was more two safeties and more coverage looks. Now another third down situation for LSU.
In this third quarter, 8 plays for LSU. They've gained 1 yard with the negative yardage involved. Third down and 7 here. Pass knocked down, intended for Durrell.
Really nice play by Mincy. Take a look. He's reading the quarterback's eyes. It's a zone coverage. So instead of having his eyes locked on the receiver, his eyes are on the quarterback. So he knows when to time a play on the football. And he did it really well there.
Kind of really no tomorrow right here for LSU. They need a lot of points to catch up. So they go on 4th down and 7. Need to get inside the 25 of Auburn for the first down. Jennings, they gave him the protection, but again he's on the run. And throws complete. I don't know if he's going to get the first down, though. Travis Dixon made the catch, and he's short.
Yep, they marked him short of the 25-yard line, and he had to get just beyond it to convert.
And Robinson Therese is a guy that made sure he didn't get to the first down marker. Taking over on downs, Auburn.
The third down defense of Auburn has been spectacular tonight. And it hasn't been necessarily that LSU's had all long yardage situations. They've stopped them on 3rd and short, 3rd and medium, and 3rd and long. And 4th down now.
6 first downs all night and 5 completions. And 0 for on the 3rd down conversions. That's not going to get it done. Meanwhile, Mr. Efficiency on the other side, Nick Marshall at quarterback for Auburn, running the show with 3:44 remaining here in the quarter. I love these fans. They just wear themselves out when LSU's got the ball. Now you can hear Todd and I talking almost down at midfield. Out is Payne. His best run of the night. 20 yards. And he's over 100.
Nice job blocking downfield. Melvin Ray, number 82, the wide receiver, got the key block on the perimeter.
6th career 100-yard plus night for Cameron Artis-Payne. Up to about 115 now, right in there. Not Trey Mason, but he's pretty darn good.
Yep. Very versatile. They can play him in a lot of spots. He's good in the run game, obviously, and also in the pass game. And this is a unique pass offense. So the pass blocking responsibilities for the backs, very, very different, very challenging. That's why you see he and Corey Grant, 2 seniors, in there most of the time.
Puts his head down and maybe got a half yard out of this. Lockature made the tackle from the defensive line spot, and we got a guy down, and I think it's Lockature. Let's check in with Holly.
This Auburn offensive line has been terrific so far tonight, guys. They had to overcome the loss of their right tackle, Patrick Miller, so they switched guys around. Chris Slade moved from the left side to the right side. And how about Avery Young? He has been at right guard. He slides out to right tackle tonight, the 3rd different position he's played along the offensive line just this season. That's a huge switch. Instead of being inside and blocking a 3 technique that might be a bigger, stronger guy, he's on the outside now having to block a 6'5" speed guy off the edge. So a terrific job adapting by this Auburn offensive line tonight.
Especially when you're doing it with this kind of offense, because with the zone read and all that, playing guard and playing tackle is a whole different deal.
And how many sideline reporters in all of football do you think know what a 3 technique is?
I know.
Besides our girl Holly Rowe. She knows.
She does. She knows offensive line better than most of us in the business. So 3rd down and 6 now. Auburn just on their side of midfield.
Duke Williams in the slot, working on single coverage right now.
Beckwith was showing blitz. He backs out of it. Marshall throws. That's a dangerous pass. It could have been intercepted by Martin, who got a hand on it. And he was hoping he could jump in front of that and maybe take it all the way.
Nice play by Ronald Martin. Good break on the football. Took a good course to the ball. He's had a pretty good night tonight.
Yeah.
Otherwise, difficult game for the LSU defense. Ronald Martin's made a lot of plays.
Carlson, you look behind him as he's set to punt again. Tried to get a little pressure on him and really didn't. And this will take a bounce out of bounds. And they're going to spot it about the 13-yard line as we check in with Reese Davis. Reese.
All right, Brad, Michigan State and Nebraska on ABC. Amir Abdullah's had really rough night. Hadn't had a run longer than 5 yards, and in the red zone fumbled it. Shalik Calhoun, who's always around the ball, scoops it up, goes the other way. That led to a Spartan field goal, 17-0 late in the first half on the banks of the Red Cedar.
So Nebraska had hopes of sort of running the table, but you run into the defense of Michigan State, it can be a different night for you. Michigan State 10th in the poll going into the night with that 1 loss to Oregon. From the 14. Kenny Hilliard, the veteran tailback, gets 4. Montravius Adams made the tackle. Big number 1, about 307 pounds, wearing number 1. You asked Ellis Johnson, what's the deal with the 1?
Yeah. I guess it was a promise to him in recruiting.
If he could play. if you play well, you can have number 1.
Yeah, and you know that's got to be a super special order jersey because most ones are for little guys.
All right. Jennings steps up in the pocket and fires complete. Nice pass. John Diarse trying to get loose. Got a block. Diarse down the sideline with a stiff arm and out of bounds. We've got a flag down.
Boy, this is a beautiful throw by Jennings, and I want you to see what Jennings did. If we look at the replay, his movement in the pocket, instead of scrambling out, watch him step up in the pocket. He doesn't scramble out, he just steps up, finds a new window, and makes a nice throw.
And it's coming back because of an illegal block in the back.
Traven Durrell, maybe.
Some gentleman took a big hit on the sideline. He's apparently okay. They dusted him off.
Still got the first down, but they lost a lot of the yardage after the catch. Really liked Anthony Jennings' movement in the pocket that time. That's what Brandon Harris was having a hard time getting used to doing in that first half.
This time Jennings keeps it, and he got about 9.
Jennings on the carry.
They lost about 37 yards because of that block in the back. They would have been way down deep in Auburn territory, and instead they just got across midfield officially at the 46. We're at 2nd down and 1. Fournette gets the first down, and they'll move the chains after a pickup of 3.
Tackled by number 17, Chris Frost.
Third quarter winding down here, less than a half minute to go. Tough night for that young fella.
Yeah.
Brandon Harris, freshman quarterback, his first start on the road at Jordan-Hare, hostile territory. Nothing went right. He ended up 3 out of 14. If we don't see him again tonight, that's going to be his stat line that he just as soon forget.
They may not get a snap off here before the quarter ends.
Just barely. Jennings going to go deep. Got a man out there. Off the tips of the fingers of Dupree, and we got a flag. So the quarter's not over yet. Trevon Reed back there defensively.
Yeah, he got a little bit of a push right at the very end. He was in pretty decent position, but he pushed right at the end. Trevon Reed.
Defense interference. Number 25 of the defense. 15-yard penalty. The play happened at the end of the period. Therefore, we will have 1 on time down.
There you go. That's
There's the
play
contact,
right there.
right at the end.
That was a pretty nice throw, too.
It was. It was a very nice throw. Good protection. Trevon Reed is a converted wide receiver playing cornerback who's had a pretty good year for him.
I'm not sure that wasn't a good penalty on Reed, because I think that's a touchdown if he doesn't get the hands in there. So we got 1 untimed down, and then the third quarter will come to a close unless we have another defensive penalty. Empty backfield for Jennings. Well, now Hilliard's going to come and join him. At the Auburn 28. Jennings right up the middle came the pressure. He got the pass complete to Trey Quinn. And Quinn shoved out around the 30-yard line, and that will bring the quarter to a close. The battle of Tigers, and so far it's the home team. Auburn, big advantage with 1 quarter to go. The SEC on ESPN as we head to the 4th quarter at Jordan-Hare. Almost 88,000 with us. And the Auburn Tigers well on their way, unless LSU can really put together some quick points. This place has been rocking since we've been here. And it gets noisy again. 2nd down and 12. LSU at the 30. Blitz off the corner. The run straight up the middle for Hilliard. And he's inside the 25 to the 24. Kenny Hilliard is the veteran back of the group, senior out of Patterson, Louisiana. The nephew of Dalton Hilliard, former LSU great and NFL great for that matter. Here's another third down, which has not been a good down, as you can see, for the Tigers at LSU. They bring an extra man. Jennings going to loft one just over the fingertips again of Dupree. Well, it's 2-down territory anyway. You'll get another shot at it. Les Miles was going for his 100th coaching win at LSU. Doesn't look like it's going to happen.
You know, the guy that's kind of a physical receiver in this bunch is John Diarse right here. He's about a 215-pound guy, probably the strongest. He's not the tallest, but he's a strong guy that can catch the ball in traffic.
They'll blitz off the corner again. Jennings fires it, and it is almost intercepted by Trevon Reed. And again, Auburn will take over on downs.
0 for 12 on third down, 0 for 2 on fourth down. Those are the money downs in football, and Auburn has taken it to the bank the whole night.
Monday night, high-flying Seahawks on the road. They head east, a long ways east, to take on the Washington Redskins. Monday, 8:15 on ESPN and watch ESPN. No other night is Monday night in Seattle. Longest active winning streak on Monday Night Football. Russell Wilson hasn't lost one either. He'll try to do the same on Monday. .14 to play. Corey Grant in the backfield with Nick Marshall. He'll get the handle. No, he didn't. Nick Marshall, well, he tricked me there. Keeps it out to the 30.
Just wonder how much longer we'll see Nick Marshall. You know, he's not the biggest guy, and Jeremy Johnson, the backup, you want to get quality reps with him, not just mop-up reps. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last possession of the game for Nick Marshall. They also have some young backs that they want to get involved more. Rock Thomas and Peyton Barber, guys that are not as up to speed on the pass protection part, but really talented ball carriers.
And the carry is Artis Payne, who adds to his total tonight. 10 more out to the 40.
Nice job by Slade, the guard, pulling around and leading on that play.
I think he's the other guy I'd get out of there right now. Well, he actually is out. Corey Grant in for Cameron Artis Payne. They've used a minute since that last time out with a 27-point lead. 1st and 10 at the 40. And this is a quarterback draw all the way from Marshall. Cut it outside. He's going to get a block from his tailback. Got the first down and out of bounds at the 45.
You know, Gus Malzahn is right in saying we're taking one game at a time and only focusing on this game against LSU. But pretty soon in his substitutions, he's going to start thinking a little bit beyond tonight's game and what lies ahead with their schedule. And part of that will be protecting Nick Marshall from taking any more unnecessary hits in this ball game.
Plus, he's over 100 yards for the 7th time in his career in the 2nd consecutive week. So he and Dak Prescott both pulled that off today against LSU, I should say. So Todd talked about dual threat quarterbacks and the trouble they've given Les Miles' defense, and same story again tonight.
Yeah.
When the quarterback for Auburn runs for over 100 yards, they pretty much never lose. And that's where Marshall is. And Cam did it a bunch of times in winning the Heisman Trophy. This is a give to Corey Grant. Woo. Boy, he laid the shoulder in the wood to Jalen Mills at the end of the run. 16 yards and then kapow.
Well, these some fresh legs right here with Corey Grant.
Ooh. That's a running back saying, take that one with you.
It's a game of leverage. 249 yards rushing for Auburn. Again, it's not really close to the number they averaged last year when they led the nation at 328. But this is a more balanced, diverse, and I think just as difficult to defend offense as they had last year.
Again, Marshall's going to keep this one. Try to get out of bounds without any further punishment. Run out by Ricky Jefferson, but he picked up 6 more yards.
I know Gus wants another touchdown. They only have a field goal here in the second half. I know he wants his first team offense to get it in the end zone again. I just don't know that I would want number 14 taking any more hits.
I wouldn't either.
I just,
look at that great balance, though. You just talked about it. 255 and 245. They came in averaging 220 in the air, 261 on the ground. So they're doing a little better passing tonight, and they're right about on their average. And that's Jeremy Johnson, the number 2 quarterback, who a whole bunch of teams in the FBS would love to have as a starter. Not on the sideline. And Marshall broke a tackle and 2, and out of bounds with another first down. He's not only fast, he's shifty.
Yeah, and he's smart, because that's one way to avoid a hit. Get what you can get and get out of bounds. He just looks so much more comfortable in everything he's doing in this offense this season. He's throwing the ball with more confidence. His footwork and fundamentals as a passer are much better. And he's always been a dangerous runner.
7 straight times Auburn has run the ball on this drive. That's chewed up some clock. Now it's down to 9:35. Back to the tailback, Corey Grant. Not much there. Quan Alexander. And LSU saying they had the football. I don't think there was a change in the bottom of the pile. Actually, they do have it. Quan Alexander's got it, but they put it back down for the Auburn offense just outside the 12. When at least 250 on the ground, perfect. Less than that, 3 and 2. 265 already. Bo's like, well, they're doing a little different than when we did it. Because I did most of it. 5-minute drive. Here's a toss out to Grant. And he's heading to the end zone. Touchdown. There's the other touchdown, Todd said. Gus Malzahn wanted to put on the board. And it's the backup tailback, Corey Grant.
Well, this is the same formation that they threw the touchdown to Uzomah earlier. It was the unbalanced line. Sean Coleman, the left tackle, was lined up as the tight end on the right side. He was a lead blocker. And Brandon Fultz, the guy who has taken the place of Jay Prosh, got a cut block to spring Corey Grant for the touchdown.
Extra point is good. A 76-yard drive that chewed up more than 5 minutes off the clock. And a backup tailback getting some sugar. Grant, 12-yard touchdown, 41-7.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. Feel the Hamptonality. And in part by Scott Trade. Our passion is to power yours.
Not many have left Jordan-Hare Stadium. They're enjoying it too much. Their team on a way to a big, resounding victory. It would be the biggest ever, or at least match the biggest ever win over LSU in this series. It's 49 games old if the score stays the way it is right now. It was a 34-point game in 1999 as well. Short kick and trying to field it and having to just cover it is Terrence McGee. So that's kind of the way the night has gone for LSU. They came in number 15. They're getting pushed around by the number 5 team that probably will be the number 2 team in the country early this week. 8:42 to play.
DirecTV is going to take you inside the drive as we take a look how Auburn has been successful. One way is unbalanced line. That's a tight end lined up as a tackle. That's a tackle lined up as a tight end. It fooled LSU early in the game, and Nick Marshall was able to throw a touchdown pass because of the trickery. The next time we saw it was just a minute ago. That's a tight end lined up as a tackle. That's a tackle lined up as a tight end. This is a run, and watch big number 72 get out in front of the play. Again, the formation, 2 times they used it. One was a pass, one was a run. Both were touchdowns.
Jennings under center with Fournette behind him. Not much for the freshman tailback, the highly recruited tailback. One of the most highly recruited probably players in the country. And he's had some big games, but not on the nights that we've had him.
Well, and right now, if you're Les Miles and this LSU coaching staff, all you're looking for right now is to make sure your team does not quit.
Yeah.
That they fight for the last 8 minutes of the ball game. And, you know, at this point, you're not really playing to try to make up the ground of 34 points down. You haven't converted a third down the entire night. You're just trying to do some positive things to build on for your next football game.
Fournette got away from the first man on the sideline. I'm not sure where he stepped out, and then he got belted at the end of the play.
There's a late
flag.
Yep.
It'll be a late hit. Stephen Roberts is going to be the guy at the end of this play. First of all, I'm not sure if he did keep his feet in, I guess.
Personal foul. 14 late hit, out of bounds. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Local product, Stephen Roberts, right out here, Opelika. And Fournette at this time is still running, but
it wasn't necessarily a hard hit, but it was where the hit occurred.
Right in front of the
flag.
LSU bench.
Yeah, and in the white.
Play action. Jennings wants to load one up here, and he's throwing it a mile, and he's got it complete to Durrell, who's been quiet all night, all the way to the 20-yard line.
Nice job by Durrell adjusting to the ball. This ball was a little bit underthrown, and Durrell saw that and was able to take a course back to the football. Watch him see and read the ball and stop and go up and catch it at the high point.
That's his first catch tonight for Traven Durrell, who came in as the leading receiver, and he had just some ridiculous early numbers this year in the first couple games. Fumble. Darrell Williams gets back on top of it. Fournette will come back in, and Williams will trot back to the bench. The under 7 minutes remaining on this next snap. Now actually McGee comes back into the backfield. Quarterback draw. Jennings isn't going to get back to the line of scrimmage. Then Bradley, the first guy to meet him. Big fella, over 300 pounds, also senior out of Norcross, Georgia.
Chris Frost was also in there. Chris Frost came on an inside blitz right in the A-gap from his middle linebacker position. And he was part of that bottle up there as well.
3rd and 16. It's been an 0 for night. I'm not sure we've ever done a game where one team didn't pick up a third down, partner. Deep on the sideline, broken up and almost intercepted. Intended for Diar's, but a flag down. So they might get a third down conversion by penalty here.
Well, I think the reason they might get the penalty, the ball was underthrown, which puts the defender in a very difficult spot. But I don't think Thurese made a play on the football, and that's what drew the flag. The receiver's trying to stop and come back to the ball. Thurese doesn't know where the ball is, and didn't turn to make a play on it.
Pass interference. 27 of the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Therese, a converted receiver, actually caught 3 passes in this matchup last year, trying to catch this one in coverage and never turned around and then into the body. It's a good call. Fans don't think so, but
yep.
So, as Todd said, you don't want your team to quit, and LSU hasn't. At least they've worked it down in the red zone by penalty at the 11-yard line. And it's McGee, a tough yard, and that's it. First guy there was Brandon King from the secondary. LSU will be at Florida next Saturday, while Auburn will be at Mississippi State in what's going to be a battle of unbeatens. And a battle of probably number about 7 or so against number 2. Again, Auburn defense stout. Chris Frost, Elijah Daniel make the hit. Here's another third down. Ellis Johnson's defense been so good all night. You know they want to stop this third down, and then they want to stop the 4th down too, and keep them out of the end zone. And the Auburn faithful have been the extra man on defense all night. I'm not sure how they can keep this noise level where it's been, but it has been for 3 hours plus. Timeout, LSU. Their first, as Jennings heads over to talk things over with Les Miles. With 4:19 remaining, couple more chances for LSU to try to get in the end zone. ESPN brings you championship drive. Who's in? Our committee of college football analysts debate who's the best team in the country right now, and who should be in that all-new playoff. Championship drive, who's in? Presented by Chick-fil-A. It's tomorrow night, 8:30 on ESPN, and watch ESPN. Well, we always have an upset Saturday. We got it today, but not here. And it looks like our string of upsets will come to a close after 4 games that we did in a row where the team that was favored went down. Tonight, the team that had the number 5 ranking is holding serve here at 41-7. Lob, Dupree incomplete. Good coverage. Not a very good throw anyway. Trevon Reed, TJ Davis back there covering.
Those are hard throws, especially when Auburn playing pass all the way, kind of playing a little soft coverage on that fade route. You're going to probably have a better opportunity to run some kind of a slant or an in-breaking route as opposed to that fade to the sideline.
You see Diar's coming back for LSU at the receiver spot. Here's where the defense, as I said, wants to keep him out of the end zone, and they're going to call timeout. Auburn, that is. Casanova McKenzie, the middle linebacker, said, I don't like the looks of this thing.
Timeout Auburn. That is their first timeout of the second half.
And we'll see if LSU can convert 4th and long when we come back. College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels, where they're so hospitable. Auburn hasn't been to LSU tonight. 4th down, maybe the last time they even touch it. 10 yards to go. 0 for 13, right, on third down.
13 on third.
And 1 for
3 on 4th.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So maybe the last chance here for LSU. Especially the way the Auburn offense has been clicking all night. If they get their hands back on it, might be the last time the LSU Tigers will see it. Need to get to the 1-yard line for a first down. 5 receivers for Anthony Jennings.
See, right now they've got more than LSU can block.
Here they come. Jennings, just a shot put to the sideline, and I think Quinn caught it. No, he was bobbling it anyway, and he would have been, I believe, having to come back that far, about 2 feet shy of the first down anyway.
Well, Ellis Johnson, the defensive coaches, all of these defensive frontline players did not want to allow LSU to score. So as soon as LSU went empty backfield, they brought up more guys on the line of scrimmage than LSU could block, and that forced Jennings to have to leave the pocket right now and then throw inaccurately. Ellis has to be thrilled with the way his defense has played
without a
from
doubt.
Start to finish.
Yep. Third straight drive that LSU has ended on loss of downs. And Jeremy Johnson finally in there at quarterback for the Auburn Tigers. That'll be the end of Nick Marshall's night, and get this guy a few more reps. Rock Thomas, a freshman tailback, is in there, and he's going to get the carry. Got about a yard. Daniil Hunter, the defense, first line defense of LSU, still out there. They've been out there all night. Down near 3.5 minutes remaining. Throw completes. And back to the line of scrimmage. Stanton trots. As we check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Brad, let you know what's going on in a couple other games. Kentucky had roared back to take a 24-17 lead on South Carolina. Sean Carson goes in, and now South Carolina's added another score. They're up by 7. It's on the SEC Network. On ESPNU, check out this catch from Curry Sexton of Kansas State for a score. They are housing Texas Tech 38-13 late in the fourth.
Kentucky game still going on, but Mark Stoops done a good job there. You just kind of knew the Florida game, you know, that things were starting to come together. And they're a lot better football team than they used to be. This is Tony Stevens carrying tacklers for a first down.
Little short throw. Make one guy miss. Pick up a block from a wide receiver. And a short throw turns into a long game.
Auburn's run 71 plays now as we are at the 2.5 minute mark.
No more tempo. Eating clock. Using as much of the play clock as you can. But try to get some quality reps for Jeremy Johnson and your other backups.
Well, there's a total yardage. We saw Mississippi State in the upset a couple of weeks ago. And Les won't want to see us coming anymore with those two figures. Almost 1,200 yards of offense in those 2 weeks. And Rock Thomas, good run.
It was a nice job by Jalen Denson, the wide receiver, not blocking in the back. He was out there on the perimeter. He wasn't in a good position to make a block, and he wisely avoided contact. Thomas was able to turn the corner anyway and pick up the first down.
Now Peyton Barber's in there, another redshirt freshman at tailback on a first down with what will be about 90 seconds left at the snap. And they'll give it to him. Nice little move, almost got face masked at midfield. So Auburn is going to extend their home winning streak to 13 games. The last home loss in a matchup of ranked teams was in 2008, and that was LSU. But LSU never had a chance in this one tonight. Gus Malzahn's never lost at home. How about that? Not bad,
a bad record.
Yeah.
Better fire up the griddle and get the steak omelet going at Waffle House tonight.
Yeah. He and his wife Christy will be heading to Waffle House. That's a ritual. She says, hey, you can only do it after wins. Well, they've never lost, so they must go to the same Waffle House every time. If they lose, it's home for a sandwich. They only lost one regular season game last year, and then were runner-ups to the national champions. This year, they're hoping they can get back there and try to do it again. Well, they're definitely going to move up in the national rankings, but look at the murderer's row they got coming up with that schedule. Impressive win for the Auburn Tigers. They go to 5-0 and 2-0 in the rough and tumble SEC West. LSU will fall to 4-2 and 0-2 in conference play as we get on to Holly.
Well, Coach Malzahn, only one guy on your team had ever beaten LSU before. What did it take tonight?
Yeah, it's really big. Like you said, I'm so happy for these seniors. They've never beaten LSU before but one guy, and now we can all raise our hands. So very excited for our players.
You got off to such a quick start in the first quarter. Sammy Coates really came alive. What did you think was the difference in your offense?
Well, you know, we hit some deep passes early, kind of loosened them up. We got some tempo and first downs, and our offense was clicking. And hats off to our defense. I mean, did a great job.
At one point, your defense hadn't allowed a third down conversion all night, Coach. How do you describe the performance?
Our defense has played great all year, and it's exciting because I think we can get better.
You have 79 guys now who have beaten LSU, Coach.
Yeah, I'm excited for our guys. They're in a good mood right now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Big win for Auburn in the 49th meeting between these two sets of Tigers. It was all Auburn tonight at home. 41-7 is the final. They'll have Mississippi State on the road next in the Battle of Unbeatens next week. Don't forget, got more college football coming up as we leave you from the Plains. For Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our ESPN crew, Brad Nessler, good night from Jordan-Hare Stadium.